The England side not named till the morning of the match, that's the final 11. And Simon Hughes now is with the two skippers. He can give us the lineup of these two teams.
Mark, you won the toss. Are you happy about that?
Always happy about winning the toss. I think there'll be a bit in the wicket, as there has been in the first two, but it looks a bit bare at both ends, so hopefully it'll turn towards the end of the game.
So you're going to bat first?
We're going to bat first, yeah.
And you've got your fastest bowler, Jason Gillespie, back?
Yeah, it's nice to have him back from injuries. The games he's played in so far for Australia has been quite a strike force for us, so it's nice to have him back.
There's a sign of a rising tide of optimism in the Australian camp.
Yeah, we've started to play better cricket. We had a good win against Hampshire during the week. We're very much looking forward to the next 5 days.
But you're a set down, so to speak. You've got to break back.
That's exactly right, and that's what we're here for over the next 5 days. And well, as I said to the guys, we're only 1-0 away from one Test match away from being in front of the series. So we're not that disappointed at this stage, but we've got some work to do.
Good luck.
Thanks, mate.
Mike, third time unlucky. Probably not a bad toss to lose.
I think there'll be a bit in the wicket. It's fairly damp in the middle of the wicket, but as Mark said, it's bare at the end, so might be a bit of turn later in the match.
And what's your team news?
We've got Dean Headley for Devon Malcolm.
What's the reason for that?
Well, I think that the pitch is going to favour seam bowling for the early part of it with the dampness there. Dean Headley's that kind of bowler, straight, hits the seam, gets it in the right areas for the majority of the time, so I think that might favour, the conditions might favour him here.
There's a mini resurgence in British sport. How's that affecting morale?
Well, we started off in a way with Texaco wins in the first test. Obviously tennis and the Lions have got it going as well. It'd be nice for us to continue the trend here.
And I guess it's nice also to be back at a ground where you can expect some proper vocal support.
Yeah, I'd like to think that the crowd here at Old Trafford will get right behind our boys and give them a big rap.
Best of luck.
Thanks very much.
Simon Hughes with the two skippers there, and just confirmation of those words from Mark Taylor and Michael Atherton. The England side, Atherton himself, Butcher, Stewart, Hussain, Thorpe, Crawley, Elam, Croft, Gough, Caddick and Dean Headley at the bottom of the list. And the Australians, Taylor, Elliott, Blewett, the two Wars, Bevan, Healy, Warne, Rifle, Gillespie and McGrath. The umpires for this game, George Sharp and Venkat, the former Indian spinner, Venkat Raghavan, and the third umpire, John Hampshire. Ranjan Madagala is the match referee. The Australians won the toss, and confirmation that they will bat. Well, there's certainly been plenty of rain in the lead up to this Test match, and let's join Geoffrey Boycott now out in the centre to find out what sort of a strip Peter Marin, the groundsman, has provided.
With all the rain about recently, this pitch has caused a little bit of a problem for the captains. If you look at it, it's not a good-looking pitch. Patchy, grassy areas, but to be fair to Old Trafford, it's never looked a good-looking pitch, and it's usually played better than it looks. What's worrying everybody are all these grassy areas here. You see these patchy bits of green grass, fresh green grass. When the ball hits these, it's bound to seam. There's no way it can't. When it hits the dry areas, or the non-grassy areas, then it'll go through, probably on a lowish bounce, all the rain seeped underneath, and what it does, it takes the sting out of the pitch, takes the pace out of it. Should be a medium to slow seaming pitch, but I think for the captains, the dodgy part is they know early on there's going to be movement for the seamers. Most seamers would like a bowl on this sort of stuff, get 1 or 2 early wickets, but for the captains, they have to decide this is a 5-day Test match, 2 innings each, and what they're worried about is that these dry areas here will come into play over 5 days for the spinners, and you've got to remember it's a 5-day Test match. So all in all, a ticklish decision that Taylor's had to make.
Geoffrey Boycott with his ideas on the many problems the batsmen will face in the opening session of this game. We join the action now in the first over. Darren Gough is the bowler. He's bowling from the Stratford end. Mark Taylor is taking strike, and no runs are on the board.
That's a useful delivery. That's the line, the ideal line to bowl for left-handers. And that would test anyone. An awkward delivery for Mark Taylor early on. And he's the man who's made the decision to bat this morning. That's off the edge and dropping just a couple of feet short of Mark Butcher. That's what Darren Gough's aiming for. It's just that area there outside off stump, where Mark Taylor is going to feel that he's going to have to play at some of those. Well, Dean Headley, brisk medium pace, but with a bouncer here that was dead on target. Certainly straight, and Mark Taylor just took his eyes off the ball a little bit. Classic error. I think that took him by surprise a bit. That's well bowled. That's the right line. And if Darren Gough hits the seam on a regular basis, well, the ball is definitely going to move this morning. There's surely enough give in this pitch to help the ball move off the seam. That's beautifully bowled. That's absolutely ideal.
You always get some deliveries that zip off the bits of green grass. And so it's going to be hard work for the batsman. They're going to have to graft and work.
Very awkward delivery from Darren Gough.
Well, I think when Mark Taylor took the decision to bat this morning, I think he knew it wasn't easy, and it will be a struggle.
Inside edge, that's going to go down very fine for 4 runs. Matthew Elliott will be grateful enough, but won't really know how he did that.
Oh, what a beauty that. It's going to be a hunt the ball. And you're going to need quite a lot of luck to survive, as well as quite a bit of skill.
A rather more confident shot this time from Matthew Elliott. Pushed away for 3. That's a very fine piece of capture. Dean Headley's first wicket in Test match cricket. Mark Taylor is the man out. Australia 9 for 1. That was a nice piece of bowling by Dean Headley. He's been persistent there on that line round about off stump. We've seen the ball seaming around.
Footwork is not very good by Mark Taylor. I know he's made a couple of hundreds in the Test match against Hampshire, but even so, he's still got a lot of work to do for me.
So Dean Headley has his first wicket in Test match cricket. Greg Blewett is the new batsman. Sliced away by Matthew Elliott. Chase now for Robert Croft. The outfield slowish. Slow enough to allow Croft to catch the ball just a yard or 2 inside the boundary. Good firm shot, right off the meat of the bat. And just enough power to overcome the outfield. Anything right up there is put away normally very powerfully. That was more timed than hit. I know it's been wet here, but as yet no evidence we're going to need the lifeguards. Certainly not at the back of the stands, anyway.
Played on, dragged it back on. There's not much pace in the pitch, and the bounce seems to be slow. Batsmen need to be careful of square cutting in conditions like this, and Blewett has dragged it back onto his stumps.
The dreaded death rattle. It's the last sound a batsman wants to hear, even when it's only a little clunk. It's not very pleasant.
Mark Waugh, fresh from 100 against Hampshire down at Southampton. 52 for 2. That's well bowled.
Bowled a very impressive line, particularly to the left-handers, Dean Headley. Once again, that movement off the seam.
That one's drawn him into the stroke this time rather than a defensive push. There's just enough movement there for both Gough and Headley, but it is the sort of thing you'd expect first morning of a test match. It's a good one. That's the leg cutter. So there's a little bit there going both ways for Headley. He's been quite impressive.
Ball getting through Mark Waugh. Just not sure whether there mightn't have been an inside edge there. No, looks like it got through and actually hit the pad.
That scream of anguish you heard there came from Headley. And that's why. Over the top of middle and off.
And that hops up, and that comes from nowhere. Now Andy Caddy gets some lift, but that really climbed. Oh, that was in the air and just wide of third slip. Nasser Hussain was the man who dived to his right, and he's a great sense of anticipation, fine pair of hands, but just that little bit too wide.
Oh, that's a bad ball. That's a shocker. Well, you've just bowled a good ball and a little bit of a streaky shot, and then you give him a shocker like that.
Well, he got his run-up wrong, didn't he? So seemed to be sprinting in. Mark Waugh's calibre, and then pulled it down. Could have hit that anywhere on the offside. Oh, well bowled, and that's out. Well, well, 2 fours and a thank you very much. Exactly what Mark Elam's been trying to do, I hope. Line, length, and he gets that ball to run away. A little bit in the air, a little bit further off the pitch, and Alex Stewart takes a good catch. Now then, this is Steve Waugh, another of the world's outstanding batsmen. But certainly when 3 wickets go down, there's a little coughing and spluttering in any dressing room, and Australia's will be no different. Oh, well bowled again. Well, what an extraordinary over. We've seen the ball race away to the third man boundary 3 times now. Steve Waugh's off the mark now with the 3. Oh, well bowled. And that's 4 more runs. You see, it's worth playing without the third man, but one swings in, one goes straight on, find the edge of the bat. But the runs have been flooding. 15 in that over, and 15 for the cost of 1 wicket. Very difficult decisions out there for Michael Atherton. Well, well, do you know, at Lords when Steve Waugh was out first ball, he plays straight across it towards mid-wicket, and if only that had been a straight ball, he might just have done the same. Oh, well bowled again, and again an odd sequence of footwork, I must say. It just sort of went for a stroll.
Well, he plays back all the time, but he shouldn't have played at this. Look how wide it is. I mean, that's a long, long way wide, isn't it?
Well, he squeezed that one away. Very strong area, traditionally for left-handers, square on the offside. Although this outfield is quite slow today, that had enough guts in it to reach the boundary. That's through that gap between the slips and the gully. And 4 more runs. That's well worth asking. Didn't move away as so many of his deliveries have done.
Yes, it was certainly well worth asking the question. See, it's hitting very high on the flap of the pad. Pretty hard to give that out.
Beautifully bowled. Well, play that if you can. Matthew Elliott has survived it.
Yes, as a batsman, I don't think you worry too much about these. When they go quickly, they go a long way, and they bounce as well. You usually feel that you're never ever going to nick one of those.
And it's awkward when the trap is set. Matthew Elliott decided at Lord's when the trap was set to try and leave the ball alone and get out of the way. Here he takes a blow. Another short delivery. So this morning, the honours shared. 74 for 3. 1 ball is left of this morning session. And runs coming from it. That's nicely clipped away. Beautifully timed, actually, by Steve Waugh. So Australia finish on a high note.
.36 from 91 balls. And he is in form. He's got away with that. Played and missed it quite a number before lunch, but probably no more so than you'd do in a normal, fiery first session of a test match. That's well run. They ran that second one very, very quickly. Just sensing that the ball was getting away from fieldsman Michael Atherton. The shouts there. And Elliott is far from happy, but it's immaterial. He still has to go. It started off as a moderate appeal and finally became a fully fledged one, and Elliott had to go for 40, caught by Stuart Hawkhead.
That one goes off the seam and bounces quite a bit, and Elliott then rubbed his elbow. Maybe you see here with the ball bouncing just a touch, and it's just grazed the elbow there, so that's the reason why Matthew Elliott was a little disappointed.
85 for 4 at the moment. Elliott, quite obviously a little unlucky there. Michael Bevan is the new man in. It's a good stroke. Goff won't be too pleased with the actual delivery. Half volley outside leg stump. But Steve Waugh has put away very well.
Beautifully bowled again. Good length, fairly straight, nipping away from him, squared him up. He does get in that very square position, does Michael Bevan.
A very confident appeal from Dean Headley, the bowler. He's bowled a good line. Nothing erratic about him at all. Good line to the left-hander, pitching just on, straightening a bit perhaps, and seeing Michael Bevan not making much ground with the front foot. Good shout. Through the gap, And we've seen quite a few of those today. The ball racing away for 4 runs. Finds a gap. Not sure it came off the middle of the bat. Certainly gone right through for the 3rd run, the 4th run. They've run 4. Well, really, Alex Stewart was moving one way, and the ball, after bouncing, appeared to swing a long way. And that brings the 100 up, 103 for 4. It's quick and nasty. I think Steve Waugh had no trouble at all in spotting it. And then watch that ball swing. Oh, well fielded, well fielded. Wonderful enthusiasm from Darren Gough. And he's businesslike as well. It's his daily work, but there's a bubble about his play and movement. Here he comes. It's almost as if he's still a kid on the beach. Oh, well bowled. And that's out. Beautiful bowling. Completely opened up the left-hander. Little nick. And a flying catch from Alex Stewart. So no luck here again for Michael Bevan, who fought hard. But Dean Headley is not to be denied. Bowled really well. It's his 3rd wicket in his 1st Test match. And Michael Bevan goes 113 for 5.
Well, it was a good ball. I suppose any wicket's a good ball, but it's the length, it zips away. And Michael Bevan, I said all along, I don't think he can play Test level getting chest on to deliveries like this. Look how he is with the feet pointing down the pitch, chest on, he's opened up. I think he's going to struggle all the time.
Ian Healy is the new batsman. 113 for 5. Strader, I must remind you, winning the toss, batting first. Shot. Fine shot. I think Darren Gough's going well to keep it up to Steve Waugh, but he needs a bit more protection on the drive now. Suddenly the ball is being fired off the middle of Steve Waugh's bat. Oh, well bowled. Not out, says George Sharp. Really, says Darren Gough. Yes, says George Sharp. And he'll probably explain to him how the ball probably nicked the inside edge of the bat, or he was just outside off stump. Outside off stump. Whoa. Oh, that was quick, and that cut back a little bit outside off stump. It's good aggressive stuff, this.
This is a good pressure over, some very good deliveries here. Haven't got wickets, putting the batsman under pressure.
Good shot. Atherton might have had a thumb to that, but no more. It's a long run for Croft. No speed at all in this outfield today yet. And they've run 4.
That was very nearly through.
It almost appeared as if Ian Healy was a little bit late on it. And then he clipped the top of the pad and went through.
Yes.
.50 for Steve Waugh. And that's a very good innings. 50 from 73 deliveries. That's good scoring when conditions have favoured the bowler. That's a fine shot from Steve Waugh. That's exactly what we mean. And we say he's quiet and efficient. No undue flourish about the shot. Weight was in the right place. The bat just firmly met the ball. Absolutely square on. As always 4.
That's what you want to bowl that length. Now that was lucky. Been disappointing today because his length's been all over the place. Maybe Michael Atherton should have thought of changing ends for him, see if that does the trick.
Not much has seamed, not much has swung just in these last 15-20 minutes. That's done something. Done too much. That's another good shot. That's a real strength for Steve Waugh on the leg stump. And the boundary bringing up Australia's 150. They're all asking, he's been given. Andy Caddick breaks his duck for the day. And there's an element of good fortune about it. The ball was aimed down the leg side. Ian Healy just trying to flick it away into the acres of space that there are down on that leg side. Just gets a thin nick through to Alex Stewart.
Alex Stewart got a good look at it. Healy is playing the ball well outside of his body, so the keeper gets a good look. He's well and truly on the move. That's a pretty good catch from Alex Stewart. Very good footwork. He's using the skip method where he brings his feet up together, and he's taken that well. That brings Shane Warne to the crease.
Well, it's a whisker away again. And that was batsman error. No doubt about that this time. Steve Waugh somehow lured into this. His concentration normally is pretty good, but the shot was never on. Oh, great shot. Steve Waugh really launching into that one. It wasn't quite the half volley that it was made to look. Steve Waugh just unleashed the bat through the line of the ball. That should be out, and is given. Everyone in the England camp seemed confident enough. Umpire Venkatragavan just took a couple of seconds, I think, to give Shane Warne the chance to get himself away from the crease voluntarily.
Mark Elam proving himself to be a real wicket taker.
So Australia 160 for 7. That's well timed again. That's been the most productive shot, I think, for Steve Waugh today. Everything up on his toes. He's clipped away with power and timing.
Safe. 4 over the top of the slips, and takes the Australians a little closer to that 200 mark now. Well, it was a good effort. It was perfectly timed by Steve Waugh. There's nothing difficult about the ball. A full toss on leg stump. To make it worse, not only was it a full toss outside leg stump, but it was also no ball. It looked as though it was a nick from the waving of the arms. no signal from the umpire, so we can say that that did get a rather fine edge, moved away off the seam from the right-hander. There's the edge, and it keeps going. So it got to Stewart a bit quicker than he thought. Oh dear, I don't think the bowler will be very happy about that. Not that it was a particularly good ball. Full toss on leg stump, deserves to go for 4, but not quite under the body of the diving fielder.
That's quite a vicious delivery, and probably better than bowling a bouncer to the opposition fast bowler. The bowler's got to hobble up and bowl the next day because of a bruised thigh. You've won a pretty good victory.
Look for 2 again, and that'll bring up the 50 partnership. They're very handy runs. 211 for 7.
He hasn't played and missed much. That was a really good ball that got him playing and missing at it, but he's worked at his batting. It's right behind the ball and makes your ball to his strengths.
But not so. Very, very good 100. When Steve Waugh looks back in years to come, I doubt if he'll find many better innings he's played than that one. Super knock, 100 out of 223. Everyone's running around, and Alex Stewart has claimed the catch. Robert Croft has shown typical enthusiasm. George Sharp has hardly moved a muscle or an eyebrow, and certainly not a finger.
It seemed to bounce a little bit, didn't it? There seemed to be a bit of a nick there, and actually it was a good catch in the end.
Might have been a moment of luck there for the Australians. They finished on 224 for 7. Just the same moment as when it looked as though Alex Stewart might have taken that catch. And a very, very fine performance from Steve Waugh. Unbeaten on 102. I think one of the best innings I've ever seen him play. When the Australians started, they would have given anything to make 200. They lost wickets early. Steve Waugh held them together. And there's that splendid partnership at the end with Paul Rifle. 224 for 7. And the bowling figures for England, I was very impressed with Dean Headley today. 23 overs, 4 maidens, 3 for 67. He was very cool, showed no nerves at all in making his Test match debut. And also Mark Elam, I thought they were the 2 best bowlers, 3 for 67 and 2 for 34. A wicket for Darren Gough. I was surprised he was kept out of the attack for so long. 1 for Andy Caddick, and Robert Croft bowled only 4 overs, 2 of them just because the light was bad at the end. So a magnificent performance from Steve Waugh, and here he is now talking with Simon Hughes.
Steve, how does that rate in your pantheon of Test hundreds?
I think it's up there. I think it probably is my best Test 100, particularly the way I started out. I was very scratchy, first 10, 20 runs, I guess, and the wicket was very difficult in those conditions, and I hadn't come into the Test with much form, so I really had to dig deep, and I was very happy with the way I played.
You make a habit of playing very well on difficult wickets.
Yes and no. I've had a few failures on difficult wickets, but I do enjoy the challenge. I guess you need a bit of luck, which I proved today early on. I played missed a few times and was a bit shaky, but you've got to remain positive, I guess. And if the ball's up there to hit, you try and put it away, and I think we did that pretty well.
You played the seaming ball very well.
Well, I guess I did. I got runs out there, and it was tough. It was one of the toughest wickets I've played Test cricket on, so I think 220 is a pretty good score.
Indeed, 220 is a big score, and I think the pitch will be in much the same condition for the second day's play as it was today. We've had a very interesting day here today, the opening one of this Cornhill Test match, and here's Ian Chappell now with Geoffrey Boycott with their ideas on it. He did a job for Atherton, and 1 for Carrick. Now, it was testing conditions yesterday. I thought the Australians did very well to get that far. Here's Geoffrey Boycott now to let us know what he thinks might be happening out there on the second morning.
Yesterday, Dean Headley bowled Michael Bevan, an absolute corker. It was a beauty. Right on a length, on the green bits, on this pitch. They're still here today. Dean Headley was the best bowler because he bowled the line and he bowled the length and let the ball do the work onto these fresh, grassy areas, which are still there this morning. I thought some of England's other bowlers gave away too many runs, actually. And what England have to do is just bowl the line and length on these grassy areas. There's still something there this morning. I think there'll be something there when the Australians bowl. If they bowl straight and a good length, not too full, not too short, they can still create a lot of problems for the England batsmen. So I think with the cloud cover, the overcast nature, there's still a bit in this pitch, and it's going to be a fascinating contest. Odds at the moment, slightly on Australia.
It sounds as though it might be interesting for the batsmen out there again today. Well, we join play now on the second morning. It's the second over. Darren Gough is bowling to Paul Rifle, and 2 runs have been added to the overnight score. It's a nice stroke. Rifle has got himself well over the top of that.
Ooh, effort something.
It's well away from that, I would say. Shown up by the replay. But that flew a bit.
Oh, look at that. You don't want too many of those when you're batting, I can tell you. Well bowled.
Or indeed if you're waiting to come into bat.
No, I don't think it'll thrill Mr. McGrath at all, or Mr. Gillespie, who are batted up in the dressing room. It wouldn't thrill me either if I was batted up.
Well, the shout was because they reckon the ball squeezed into his toe before it hit him on the bat. I think that might turn out to be a very good umpiring decision. I think the ball has gone through and he has banged his foot with the bat on the way through, and it certainly hit him, certainly hit his bat. Got him. And that's what he's trying to do with the other one, and Darren Gough has sneaked the Yorker through there. Very well bowled. Good partnership, and Rifle has done a great job for Australia.
Well, it's a magnificent delivery, but I reckon that the one before the attempted Yorker, where Rifle hit his own foot and caused himself a bit of pain, I reckon that did the damage. And then Gough bowled him another one a couple of balls later, further over at off stump, and it was right in the slot, an absolute beauty.
230 for 8. Into the 75th over now, and 103 for Steve Waugh.
Oh, well bowled, probably just going down, but well bowled. Headley can't believe it, but I think when we see that in slow motion, we might find that was another good decision by the umpire. Yep, I think that's a good decision. Just started to swing, didn't it?
It's a crashing shot. No chance of cutting that off. And one of the rare opportunities, in fact the first opportunity really this morning, that Steve Waugh has had a chance to get through this sort of shot. All over now. Just a fraction slow coming forward, Steve Waugh. But that's a very useful delivery from Darren Gough that ends a very fine innings. He hadn't really had time to get into his stride this morning.
Just a touch from the inside edge there. Darren Gough getting the leg absolutely right to Steve Waugh. Just moving back a touch off the seam, then inside edge onto pad and knocking middle stump out of the ground.
Glenn McGrath is there now, Australia's last man. Let's put it down. Well, it was a sharp chance. Dean Headley off balance as that came back towards him. Well, that could have wrapped it up for England. That is out. So straight away, Dean Headley picks up the wicket. He nearly got the ball before. Thick outside edge, comfortably taken by Alex Stewart. That's his sixth catch of the innings. And Dean Headley's fourth wicket of the innings on his Test match debut.
Well, that's quite a good effort from the Australians in the end. 235. They'd have certainly liked 250, but they'll settle for that. Steve Waugh out for 108. And a good performance also from England this morning. They bowled very straight, kept at the Australian batsmen, picked up the last couple of wickets there quite cheaply. And the outstanding bowlers remained Gough and Headley. 21 overs, 7 maidens and 3 for 52 for Gough. And Headley, he made a very good debut yesterday and continued that this morning, finishing up with 4 for 72, and they were the only bowlers used. Carrick 1 and Elam 2 wickets from yesterday. We join play now in the England reply. It's the second over. Paul Rifle is the bowler. He's bowling to Michael Atherton, the England skipper, and 2 runs are on the board.
That's a good shot. That's played with the bat absolutely straight. That's the big difference.
It's a wise thing to play straight here at Old Trafford. Pretty aggressive running there from Michael Atherton. Blewett had the ball in his hand and was just on the turn when Atherton started his second. That's a good sign. Positive sign for England.
There we are. That's good running.
Good reflex stop at short square leg. That's Greg Blewett at short square leg, but good reflex stop at full speed. And that whistles past the outside edge.
When you bowl a real good one, it's almost too good. I mean, this just went like a firecracker. Top over, not giving him anything yet. It's too straight. He's bowled it off stump and just outside. Really good accuracy and discipline. Well, he hasn't been in the best of form for his county Lancashire, but he's usually a man for the big occasion, is Michael Atherton. Usually can grow in stature when it's needed. First time that Michael Atherton's nearly played on from an inside edge. I think batting's going to be the key for England. They can have a good batting day.
Well, that was a strange stroke by Michael Atherton. He got in a very strange position. Again, McGrath absolutely at him. Well, it looks out. It is out. After a real stalemate out there, Glenn McGrath's done the trick for Australia. And it was a short ball this time. Now, Michael Atherton, solid in defence. McGrath, regular on a length, on off stump. Suddenly, flicks through, caught Healy, bowled McGrath for 5, 8 for 1. first wicket down for 8 runs. And that brings Alex Stewart to the crease.
Grant fieldsman. Seen that too much from Mark Butcher. The short ball where he's played the ball in front of square leg.
There's only Greg Blewett in front of the wicket on the onside, so really he's only got to hit it a few feet, and he's past the only fieldsman there. So it really is some pretty easy pickings if you get a bit of bat on the ball.
Timed. An easy 3 for that. Shane Warne is about to bowl. Going to bowl from the same end from which he bowled 4 years ago here on the same ground when he bowled his first ball in Test cricket in England. So there's a bit of chaos. Absolute chaos. Now the throw might have been a touch awkward, but Warne made trouble for himself by going backwards. Now they've turned for 2. The fieldsman has come in, picked it up and thrown beautifully. Now Warne goes away, whereas he'd have been much better to stay in there and take the chance of gathering it. That was a real let-off. Good fielding again. All rifle the man out at point.
Good shot, good stop. And what could have been 3 or 4 becomes 1. That's a nice positive full blade shot from Mark Butcher.
Oh, so close, so close. Change of angle, round wicket, and Mark Butcher won't be happy with that. He'll be rehearsing something else already, I'm sure. A wrong length to try and play square of the stumps. Well, that races away, slips through the fielder's cordon. Almost knocked Mark Taylor over there, and Glenn McGrath shakes the head. An excellent over, bowled round the wicket up the left-hander, caused problems to Butcher in terms of line and length. Oh, that's the gap Alex Stewart's been looking for. Good chase, wonderful stop. Wonderful fielding, Michael Bevan, and he earns the applause of his side there.
He is a very gifted fielder. Not many people could run as fast as him after this ball. And then when the ball is just going to beat him to the boundary, he gets his wonderful sliding, quickly gets up, stops them going for the 4th run. He's a joy to watch.
No real power in that shot, but still a couple of runs for Butcher, and that's the 50 partnership. between the Surrey players, Butcher and Stewart. Nice ripple of applause around the ground. Sunny afternoon. England batting with some confidence, but still much work to be done. Oh, well bowled indeed. He gets it through. Still, that's the challenge. Very well played by Butcher. Played it on merit. Not badly bowled, slightly over-pitched.
Well, they're trying all they know, Australia, and they haven't bowled badly at all. They bowled quite well, but so far it's been England's day.
That's a fine shot from Mark Butcher. It just confirms what a good player he is and what a courageous player. He's got himself into position very quickly for that, and 4 runs.
Well, that's well timed. No, just a moment of exuberance. I don't think Venkat would have fallen for that one. Certainly no, he wouldn't have done. But it's a good move, I think, from Shane Warne to come round the wicket now. He's tested Mark Butcher gently over the wicket, but with those footmarks outside the off stump, that's where he's going to get some purchase now. Well, something's happened there, and that's the end of Alex Stewart. It's taken a certain amount of patience, and it's taken Shane Warne to produce something which Alex Stewart could do nothing about, or very little about. And it was a very good, sharp catch by the Australian captain, Mark Taylor.
Yes, that one seemed to spin a little quicker than the rest, perhaps coming out of the footwork, out of the footmarks, and Alex Stewart looking to turn it on the onside. That's a good catch from Mark Taylor. When the batsmen are looking to force on the onside, quite often you get a late look at it at first slip. But Taylor's done well there. So Shane Warne getting the breakthrough, one that Australia badly needed.
It brings Nasser Hussain now out to the crease. He arrives there with the score on 74 for 2. It's been slowest progress. That's a nice shot. Nice way to get off the mark.
That's a good shot. Drifted out into the rough. It didn't matter to Butcher. He gave it the same treatment.
Played, turned out of the rough, but he's watching it now. He's waiting for it. Seems to me, looks like a man who's just begun to feel confident that he can play at this level.
Good shot. Nice stroke. Judged the bounce of the ball, or rather the lack of it, very well. And it was a beautiful stroke. Another example of the extra top spin Warne's putting on the ball. Drift away from the left-hander, and then it kept on going. Beautifully played. He plays that straight back sweep very, very effectively. Very rare for him to miss that. Warne was going at him, trying to bowl him behind his pads. stroke perfectly placed. All but evaded the man at short cover. And 50 for Mark Butcher. Well done, that's good performance. 87 at Lord's, 50 here.
Oh, top spinner running on.
It's one of the problems with Bevan for batsmen. It's very difficult to pick. There's no question that Mark Butcher picked that. But Bevan does get them into all sorts of trouble. Doesn't pitch it exactly where he wants all the time. Oh, well. What a piece of work from Healy. It looked for the naked eye as though he's got him by a fraction. Just a question of what the third umpire says. That is simply brilliant.
After a very fine half-century, hard worked, very good for the team. Really a full toss down the leg side. You look at when it goes past him, it's almost on a full toss. He misses it, stumbles over, balances, and he's a goner.
Now, Healy has only played 25 of them, compared with Alan Knott 34 and Rod Marsh 42. Healy has just gone to 100.
Gart again. There's that lap sweep. Well, he's trying to bowl him out, but he's a very good player of that shot, is Nasser Hussain.
That's 98 for 3. Michael Bevan is bowling, and the new batsman is Graham Thorpe. To Thorpe. He's off the mark now. Ended up doing them through the stamp. Taylor's shouting, they all are, and so is umpire Venkat. Thorpe is, if I say reluctant to go, then that would be to understate the position. There have been two great decisions in this match so far, and one was George Sharp, and the other one we've just seen was Venkat. That's come off the bottom edge onto the pad and straight to Mark Taylor. John Crawley is the new batsman. Well, that's the one he drops in occasionally, halfway down the pitch. Sometimes the batsmen pick it, sometimes they don't. And this time Crawley did.
Big shout. Shane Warne is 2/3 of the way down the pitch, as if to bid farewell to Nasser Hussain. Well, a nasty moment for Nasser Hussain. Oh, brilliantly bowled. Yeah, he's given him this time. Nasser Hussain completely deceived, beaten in the flight, beaten off the pitch. And this is what looks to be Shane Warne at something near his best. It's the best we've seen him bowl in the series.
Well, Hussain made just one mistake there. He tried to follow the ball. Once he saw it spinning a long way, it was time to bail out. So Shane Warne now level with Graham McKenzie. 246 test wickets, and he's got a lot of confidence from this sharp turn.
Well, it's 110 now for 5, and the advantage really has swung now to Australia. definitely have the feeling that this is the end where all the action, or the bulk of the action, is going to be. Shane Warne getting this ball to turn. There's an inside edge onto the pad. And you can really sense the two men in front of the bat, the short leg and the silly point, they're almost walking in. They're looking to come in and take whatever there is offered. Again, it's very similar to the shout they had against Nasser Hussain just recently. That could be it. Everyone celebrating once again. It just takes a while. Umpire Venkatragavan always gives the batsman the chance to do his own walking. But it's a very similar way of dismissal to the fashion in which Nasser Hussain went just a few minutes ago. And John Crawley, who is one of the players that you would back to read Shane Warne as well as any in this England side, has been well beaten here. It was a very confident appeal, no doubt about that. Ian Healy again teaming up with Shane Warne. Well, there we are again. That's the short ball which doesn't rise, gets the man in trouble when you're not looking to actually hit the ball.
That'll be 4. No third man. McGrath's going to take the risk of being put away by these two, one middle order player and the other one a late order player. And just the sort of day with blue sky and sunshine that we like to see the Impatiens and the Lobelias. 2 marigolds in there too, I think. But very nice sight here at Old Trafford. A few more Lobelias in the crowd. Wow, what a good catch. There's been some good out cricket from the Australians today. Steve Waugh, the man who made the 100, has pulled off the catch that's dismissed Robert Croft. And England now 122 for 7.
Well, not a shot for the memory bank, this. I don't look at it. It wasn't full enough to be playing a sort of stand-up off drive. It was a nice catch in the end, but you have to question the wisdom of the shot.
Darren Gough is the new batsman. I don't think he'll be allowing himself to be tied down. 122 for 7, and it's been a case of the Australians taking command. Not far away, that one.
Again, you see, eventually you're gonna go, because he's never playing at the ball. A little bit quicker, a little bit fuller, and I think that's a pretty good decision in the end. He never really played at the ball.
Well, that I reckon is about as plumb as you'll see.
Andy Caddy, the new batsman.
End of Warne's over. Good performance. 5 for 32 in 19 overs. And when he goes from 248 to 249, I can tell you there'll be some loud applause from this direction, because he is the best young leg spin bowler I've ever seen. Good stroke for 4. It's just what's needed by England. They were 74 for 1. And now they're 131 for 8. Oh!
Well, they're a great team, aren't they? Shane Warne and Ian Healy. Oh, unplayable. It looked unplayable. Certainly there's no danger of touching Carrick's bat. It was short, but it moved away from him. That'll do. It was short, it was a fast-lifting ball, but the top edge, the thicker variety, has served Elam well. And a great cheer because the 150 comes up for England, 151 for 8.
Done is give 3 more than single, but he's kept Elam on strike. There's 1 more run added to take it along to 161 for 8 at the close. That's much better than England might have expected at one stage. Much worse than they could have expected at 74 for 1. I thought Butcher played very well for his 51, and that partnership with Stewart had England on the way to victory. Then the Australians fought back. Hussain 13, Elam 23 not out, once again showing what a good, courageous cricketer he is. And Carrick, 15 not out. The partnership there, outstanding for saving England's bacon on the second day. 161 for 8, and the bowling figures for Australia. McGrath, 22 overs, 8 maidens, 2 for 39. I thought he was magnificent. He did a job for Taylor there today, and worked very hard indeed in 2 long spells. Rifle none for 14. Shane Warne, 5 for 48 from 28 overs and 12 maidens. Gillespie bowled with plenty of pace, but couldn't get a wicket, none for 39 in 14. And Bevan, 8 overs, 3 maidens, 1 for 14, went past the outside edge a dozen times, and it was a good foil there, and a good working partner for Shane Warne. So at the end of day 2, we've almost had 2 innings completed, which indicates we're probably going to get a result here. The Australians 235, Warne making his 108 today, and then England 161 for 8. Butcher the top scorer, and Warne 5 for 48, leaving England 74 runs behind. 5 for 48 for Shane Warne. That's a comeback and a half. He bowled quite magnificently, and here he is now, talking with Simon Hughes.
Now, you're probably not aware that your wicket of Darren Gough drew you level with Richie Benaud on 248 wickets, as the 3rd or 4th most wicket taker of Australia. So it's not bad productivity for 6 years' work.
Yeah, not too bad. To join someone as good as Richie, it was very nice to be in that sort of company. Hopefully over the next couple of days and the rest of this game, get a couple more wickets would be nice.
How do you see the state of the game now?
Well, we've got a very interesting test match on our hands here. Would have been nice to knock over Andrew Caddick and Mark Elam, but unfortunately they played very well and we couldn't do it. And hopefully tomorrow we can just finish it off, and hopefully they don't get too many more runs, and get in, make a big score and have a day and a bit to bowl at them.
Yes, it's always nice for an old leg spinner to see a young leg spinner doing so well. Talking there, Shane Warne with Simon Hughes. And now 2 wickets still to fall. Elam 23 not out, and Caddick sharing in an excellent partnership there. Good performance from Andrew Caddick, unbeaten on 15. The bowling figures for the Australians. McGrath, I thought, bowled beautifully yesterday. A wonderful performance from him. 22 overs, 8 maidens, 2 for 39. He was at the other end for much of the time from Warne. 28 overs, 12 maidens, and 5 for 48 for the leg spinner, and a wicket down the bottom as well. Now that's the situation. England 74 runs behind as we come into the 3rd morning, and conditions yesterday were very much to Warne's liking. Let's have a word now with Geoffrey Boycott and see what he thinks of the pitch on the 3rd morning.
Yesterday, Shane Warne got Nasser Hussain out with a ball that just about summed up the day and the pitch. Slow turn. That was the nature of the game, and some poor shots by the England batsmen. It was very slow from these dry areas because of the lack of preparation at the start of the match, and that's not a criticism of the groundsman, it's just because of the rain. It's just starting to turn slowly. You've got areas here, little bits of areas where the ball is turning slowly, but for a bowler who bowls wrist spin and is a big spinner of the ball is Warne. Yesterday we saw the grassy areas were right green at the start. See here? A lot of wind yesterday, nice sunny afternoon, and all that green and chlorophyll has gone. The bowlers, the seam bowlers, were not so important. They were not so difficult to play, and it had to be worn, and I think it'll be worn throughout the match with the help of Bevan that will cause problems for the England batsmen.
Well, it sounds as though there might be some fun out there again today, and we're going to join it with the fourth ball of the first over. Shane Warne is the bowler, and Andrew Caddick is taking strike. No runs added to the overnight score.
Well, it's been taken, and Andy Caddick is out. Well, a poor start for England. It's taken 4 balls this morning for Shane Warne to add to his tally. Mark Waugh was the catcher at Silly Point after a bit of a juggling effort. And that's turned out of the footmarks, a long way outside leg stump. Back of the bat almost from Andy Caddick. But Andy Caddick's persistence over in a trice this morning. Caught M. Waugh, bowl Warne for 15, 161 for 8, becomes 161 for 9. 1 over the day bowled, 1 wicket gone. Shane Warne now has 249 Test match wickets. That's taken him 1 ahead of Richie Benaud, so now he's the most successful Australian spinner of all time. Well, the cheer would suggest that England have just won this Test match. In fact, it's to welcome the first run of the morning. Oh, that's all over. Beautifully bowled by Glenn McGrath. The Yorker speared in there. Dean Headley's dead bat. No use this time. Comprehensively yorked by Glenn McGrath. The Australians have wrapped it up in a real hurry this morning. England only allowed to add 1 run to their overnight total.
Well, a very disappointing innings from yesterday and this morning for England. Terrific performance by Shane Warne.
Indeed it was, and Warne and McGrath have dominated that card there. Elam remained 24 not out and couldn't get enough of the strike to push it along, and the batsman couldn't stay with him on this morning. 162 all out, and the bowling figures for Australia, the final figures: Warne, 30 overs, 14 maidens, 6 for 48. Absolutely magnificent, and he had all the England batsmen under his spell. Up to the 2 innings, completed almost in 2 days, just a few minutes more than that. Australia 235, England 162, with those outstanding bowling figures there for Warne and McGrath. England 73 runs behind, and we join the Australian innings now with the first ball. Darren Gough is the bowler, Matthew Elliott is the man taking strike.
Straight away, Matthew Elliott is off the mark, pushing this one onto the leg side. Plenty of space out there. Just 2 men positioned on the leg side for the left-hander. Has got him. Mark Taylor's gone. Second ball. Dean Headley enjoying himself here. 4 in the first innings, 1 straight away now in the second innings. A poor game for Mark Taylor, at least as an opening batsman. Caught by Mark Butcher, very sharp catch. Flew pretty quickly to second slip. A bit of extra bounce in that one, and Mark Butcher very sharply onto it there.
Dismissed by Dean Headley, and it's been Headley who's got the left-handers so far in this match. He got all 3 of them in the first innings, and now he's added a 4th left-handed scalp to his bag.
And that's through, is it? Just squeezed out and dropping short of Graham Thorpe.
Full-blooded drive there from Greg Blewett. Ball not carrying to first slip.
Three men on the onside, and they'll pick up 3 there. there, and it's outside off stump, even if it did hit the foot before the bat. Ball darting back in the air towards Greg Blewett, and I suspect quite painful. The stumps by far.
For some reason or other, Matthew Elliott has made a decision, I think, not to hook or pull early in his innings. He virtually just turned his back on this one.
Didn't quite get that, and the man at deep fine leg will just about cut it off. Headley's a hero this morning already.
Well, I'm pleased to see that shot from Matthew Elliott. He is a natural hooker and puller. He plays the shot pretty well, as you can see there. He drags it straight down to ground, and I think he's going to get himself into more trouble by thinking about not playing it rather than doing what comes naturally.
A nice stroke, 3 for that.
Greg Blewett seems to be running okay.
Nice ball of the over and a fiery one from Dean Headley. He's bowled very well in this game so far. A nice shot from Greg Blewett. Lovely stroke down the ground. Footwork excellent and beautifully timed.
Well, got some big turn there from outside the off stump. No shot played. Entitled to call, but Venkat is unimpressed with that. Well played that time, and that was dropped well short. Caddick fielding, and they take 3. It was well taken by Alex Stewart, but throw was straight, but not to the keeper's gloves by any means. There's plenty of pace about that.
Just seems to be able to make the odd ball. It's when nothing's happening, the odd ball really zips through.
Oh, well caught, it's claimed, and umpire Venkatraghavan consults with the square leg umpire, that's George Sharp. England were very positive in their reaction, and that's the outside edge that I say Croft bowls for. Well, it'll be very difficult for the umpire to adjudicate, but up goes the finger. And that represents a good catch and a very good bit of bowling. It was the emphasis on the extra flight and loop that Croft's been trying to achieve.
Well, you've got to find out whether it bounced. It's whether it bounced here, the first one. Now, did that touch the ground in his fingers?
Either he jammed his fingers underneath it, or he was unaware that the ball touched the ground. Very difficult to adjudicate. That's a fine shot. Beautiful timing. Absolutely no effort. That's a shot of a class player. And with Croft just the 3 fielders on the onside, he's pushed to stop a shot like that. Out. Caught. Butcher. Just look at Headley. my word, Headley whips the ball across those left-handers and doesn't Butcher catch them well.
I was saying just a few minutes ago, when he does get one to go, Headley, he goes within himself and then he gets one to really nip through off the seam. Quite nice height, you see. Other balls have kept down a bit, but he's a tall man and he does nip onto the batsman much quicker. He's a good bowler.
Steve Waugh is the new batsman. He's done a terrific amount of work so far, more work to be done. It's in the gap. Crawley's the man chasing. And the outfield is just that touch quicker today. Good stop. Three runs. It's a good stop. I marvel at the way that fielders these days just hurtle themselves at the perimeter advertising. Oh, that is very close. Full length, very quick, good shout. Waugh survives. So an extra fielder's gone across to the onside. And Croft bowls to it, which is not the place to bowl to these boys. And that's 4 runs. Just needs the encouragement now. Yes, he's got a bowl across to the off stump as before. Runs this time and square behind on the offside. A long chase out there. They've run 3. They'll look for 4. It's 3 runs. Quite an expensive over from Robert Croft. 7 runs off the over, and I think that he has to be handled with care and attention by the England captain.
That's a great shot. No need at all for Steve Waugh to run.
Well, he's got away to a terrific start, Steve Waugh. Raced to 16 from just 15 deliveries. Jason Gillespie, who's had a few blisters on tour, taking the opportunity to perhaps get a bit of sun on them and harden the feet up. Perhaps also, I think, helps to have the blood drain back down the legs occasionally.
There's a chase on here for Andy Caddick. 3 runs to Mark Waugh. Oh, nicely played. It's whipped away. And Andy Caddick's chase this time is just to make sure the ball gets back from the edge of the ground to Darren Goff's hands. 8 off the over. So disappointment there for England's captain Michael Atherton, having brought Darren Goff back into the attack. Well, they're asking the question. I'm sure that's not come off glove. Worth asking maybe, you never know, but the impression from here was it just came off the shoulder. That's pretty glorious. It certainly wasn't hurried that time, just laid back. And when you're bowling at either of these Waugh twins, anything offline is in danger of going to the boundary. That's nicely placed. And also well timed. Getting 3 from that, from nothing more than a firm push. Well bowled. was quick, it was online, it was the in-swinging Yorker. I tell you what, Mark Waugh had to react very quickly to dig that one out. The lead now exactly 150.
Well, that was pretty hostile stuff from Caddick. That might have gone anywhere. The head, Steve Waugh, went back and might just have bounced off the gloves anywhere, but some sort of instinct helped him to keep the ball down.
There you are. Away he goes. He's not long before he's going over the top. He's so much confidence against off spinners.
It's a different game, and this is where the skill of the captain and the bowler really come into it. Nothing wrong with the ball. It was reasonably well bowled, but a super shot. Great shot. He got into such a fine position there. You see the moment the ball left Robert Croft's hands, Mark Waugh was getting into the position to play that beautiful square drive. It's in the air, and that's a large slice of luck for Mark Waugh.
He had the ability in the first innings, did Andy Caddick, to get a little bit of bounce and get the odd ball to really zip through, and there's that bounce. Got up a little higher than the batsman expected.
Well, again, he gets that one to hop, and to catch a player of Mark Waugh's class by surprise, jam the fingers against the bat handle says much for the effort being put in here by Andy Caddick. That's a fine shot. No third man, as we say, but this time right off the middle of the bat, leaning back, taking his time. And the 100 comes up, 102 for 3.
That's found the gap very nicely indeed. Well, Steve Waugh trying to emulate Mark in playing shot for shot, matching shot for shot here. What a rare error for a man in top form in this test match. Dean Headley getting that one to go past the outside edge. This one guided actually quite easily down to that vacant third man. Well, for the first time in this innings, Mark Waugh plays that pull shot and plays it very effectively. That's a better shot. And you'll see the result this time. 4 becomes 6. Very similar length, very similar shot. This one hit even more cleanly at the middle of the bat. And takes Mark Waugh past the 50 mark.
Well, there's Steve Waugh receiving ice pack treatment. That's because of the blows he took on his thumb in the first innings, and also the original injury which was sustained against Devon Malcolm.
Well ball, and Elam does it. A little bit quicker. I want to come back a bit because jackknifed Mark Waugh. And a huge cheer around Old Trafford. As much of relief as of success.
Really came back. Almost if he was looking to hit off the back foot, then he changed his mind, and he was a little bit late as the ball nipped back at him. Giving himself room, then it nipped back. Probably done a little bit for pace, and it nipped on.
Michael Bevan. Well bowled, Mark Elam. Well batted, Mark Waugh. Bowled Elam for 55. Well, he's whistled one past the outside edge. And there's a terrific tension about Michael Bevan. There's no hiding place in Test cricket when you really want to get going. You start pushing at shadows. Oh, well, up went the arms of the bowler, but no reaction behind. It is an excellent line he bowls to these left-handers. No doubt he's got 2 in this innings already. Oh, so close. So close, and this is the merit of keeping it tight, then a shot which Steve Waugh fancied, I think because of the width.
Oh dear. Well, Headley has got him. That's good bowling. He's pinned him with one that's round about leg stump, and Bevan hasn't been able to cope with it. A very disconsolate figure going off the field, but Headley has broken through again. Now we've got a game on our hands.
Well, that's a perfect score for Dean Headley. He's got 6 out of 6 with the left-handers, which is an amazing performance.
5 wickets down now, only 132 on the board, and this is some contest. Ian Healy is the new batsman. Missing by a long way. Justifiable enthusiasm. Umpire Venkat is a cool cat. Yeah, it's a good stroke. They'll get 3. They might even think about 4. Good throw from out there. He's not always the fellow to take on in the field, Darren Gough. That's well bowled. Now, I doubt if that one's gone away from the right-hander, but at least it held its own. It wasn't darting in at him, and that has provided the contrast for the batsman and also the difficulty. No third man, and that'll go for 4. Even though it wasn't timed perfectly, it was a slower ball, and Steve Waugh waited on it. Yes. And it's Steve Waugh's 50. A century and a 50. It's correct that batting conditions are easier today, but there's still a bit there for the bowlers. He has strike now to Dean Headley. Bowled. That is a very good piece of bowling. Good timing, particularly for a one-hand shot. And good running too by both batsmen.
Takes Australia past the 150 mark.
leg side. Well, he's certainly got the reverse swing going now. A little bit too much on that occasion, but he bowls it very well as anyone I've seen in that regard. Well, that's a very good hit. It's short of the ropes and absolutely dead straight down the ground.
Good call from Ian Healy. Good thinking there from Andrew Caddick. He realised that Steve Waugh was in a bit of strife at the other end. Completely forgot about trying to get Ian Healy. He picked the right end, but just not able to hit the stumps.
Down. Difficult, but catchable, I think we'll see in the replay. Always difficult if you've got to go forward. Don't think he had to go sideways as well.
I think Healy hitting pad and ball, all just swinging back into him and travelling a good 20 metres.
Into the gap, and that races away for 4 runs. A perfectly good shot by Ian Healy for 4 runs. Big shout for LBW. Given not out.
See this just pitching on and going down. Now that to a left-hander. That's an absolute beauty. That's leaving him outside off stump.
Cracking shot. Well, he moved his line across to outside off stump. What a fine shot that was by Ian Healy.
Opening batsmen get jarring on their bottom hand quite a lot because you get quick bowlers with a newish ball all the time. It's very hard. It tends to hit high up the bat when they are fresh and quick, and the ball is new. It bounces a bit more.
Well, that got by him.
Single to Healy. Now the 200 has come up.
Catch it, speed!
Well, he's got that away from the fieldsman. For one moment they were shouting for the catch as they saw it go in the air, but it was well away from Andrew Caddick as it turned out.
Well, Healy is one man who doesn't like to be tied down for very long at all, and he'll generally do something about it.
That's a good stroke. Wasn't the best of balls from Elam. Gave Ian Healy a bit of room, and Healy has been playing in excellent fashion. He's been playing well defensively, and then strokes like this. Robert Croft is the bowler. Healy's taking stroke.
Catch it, pitch!
Must be out. Yes. Healy on 47 has tried to hit Croft over the top. And Mark Butcher has taken the catch at mid-wicket. Don't think Healy will be all that pleased about that, but it may have had something to do with the fact that no runs were coming at the other end.
Good catch taken by Mark Butcher. Ball was hit very hard.
Shane Warne is the new batsman. Well, that's the start for Warne. He's announced his intentions fairly quickly. He's only just had time to say 2 legs, please, umpire. And the next thing is he smashed it away over square leg.
That's a nice shot, though. That's nicely timed. It's a classic late cut. The advantage for Steve Waugh there is you don't need any power in the shot. He's struggling with that thumb of his. Well, that's a very fine catch. If it's given. Well, it looked to come straight off the bat. It was hit firmly at John Crawley. Very fine reflexes from him, but one can only assume that umpire Venkataravan, he might be right, you never know, he normally is, has decided this is something of a bump ball. Let's look at this. Well, no contest to me, I'm afraid. That's just been jabbed straight at John Crawley. And that's just a whisker away. That's another rare lapse in concentration from Steve Waugh. You don't see many instances at all of this when he's batting, especially in this sort of form. He's been very determined all the way through this test match and very disciplined in his batting.
Yes, yes, yes. Good bag. Good night. Well done.
Single takes the Australian lead exactly now to 300.
Oh, short. And
oh, that's been well hit. Beautifully hit. 6 runs. Yeah, nicely put. Less of the old. Dean Headley straying in line here. Late in the day, just maybe a fraction tired. Maybe that arm's just getting a little bit lower. And this first ball disappears. All along the ground, nicely played. 4 runs to Shane Warne.
6 more added after that Shane Warne boundary to take it along to 262 for 6. A very valuable partnership between Steve Waugh and Shane Warne. They put on 52 by the close of play on this third evening. 82 for Steve Waugh, and that is a terrific performance, particularly considering the way in which his hand has been behaving and the pain he's so obviously in. 47 for Ian Healy. He's had a good match also. That was a very, very good little knock. 262 for 6 in the bowling figures for England. Bit of a struggle towards the end for them. Darren Gough 16 overs for 50. Couldn't quite get through today. Headley again bowled very well, 3 for 64 from 21 overs and 3 maidens. Croft 2 for 57, did the job. Not much in it there, not a great deal of spin, certainly not as much as Shane Warne was getting. Perhaps it's to do with the pitch being 1 day older. Elam 1 for 41, again showed his worth as an all-rounder, and Caddick none for 42 in 13. So up days of this third Cornhill Test match at Old Trafford. The Australians 235 and 262 for 6, a good performance. And England out for 162. The Australians 335 runs ahead. Food for thought. Like being a very difficult day at the office for Mike Atherton and his men. 335 runs behind Australia, who still have 4 second innings wickets in hand, including Steve Waugh's. England's batsmen know they're going to have to play a lot better in their second innings than they did in the first. Mike Taylor's Australians, well, they're raring to go. They know they have the bowlers to make life difficult for England, whatever the condition of the pitch on the last few days, and will be relishing the chance of wrapping up this game in order to square the series. Welcome to the highlights of the 4th day's play of this third Cornhill Test match at Old Trafford. We've had tremendous contests so far, some wonderful cricket, some tense stuff, and we're looking forward to more of it today. England will need an innings from Michael Atherton to match the one he played not so long ago against South Africa. The Australians, well, they've got Steve Waugh there, hoping to make history with just a few more runs to make another century in this match. This is the way it began on the 4th morning, 262 for 6, the Australians. Steve Waugh, 82 not out, and Shane Warne playing very well, unbeaten on 33. Bowling figures, the England bowlers, Gough none for 50, Headley again Starr on debut, 3 for 64, and Croft 2 for 57. Elam, 13 overs, 3 maidens, 1 for 41. I suspect just a little under-bowled. Caddick none for 42. And this is the state of play. The Australians 262 for 6, and Australia 335 runs ahead. Well, it seemed to me that the pitch was easing out a little bit yesterday, but to bring us up to date on that, here's Geoffrey Boycott.
In England's first innings, Shane Warne bowled a beauty at Alex Stewart, which pitched outside leg stump and turned. Alec was playing it to the leg side, and I think that's going to be a problem for England when they have to bat today. You see, with this ball is pitched for a right-hander, these footmarks here that the bowlers have made on the follow-through, this one doesn't matter, it's much too full, it's half volley. But here, this is where he tends to pitch. In these marks here, you can see where the bowlers have followed through. Here as well, a lot of stud marks as well as these scratch marks. The ball spins, and he's a big spinner of the ball. It's okay when he pitches here, it will turn on a length on the stumps. But unless the batsmen play poor shots and follow it, like Crawley and Hussain did, I think at some stage he's going to bowl into these footmarks and create problems for the left and right-hander. And England have to make up their mind that they'll get 5 sessions or more to bat. Are they playing to draw the match, or are they trying to win it? Because if they get caught in 2 minds, then they'll get out fairly quickly. But all in all, they should be able to bat for long periods. It's slow turn, and that shouldn't be that difficult. It's a concentrate and patience, and they know exactly what they're doing, either winning the match or drawing it.
Well, it could be a long haul for both teams here. England, if they're going for a win or trying to search for a draw, and the Australians trying to bowl them out to square the series. We join play now in the first over as the third ball. Dean Headley is the bowler. Steve Waugh is taking strike. Good stroke from Waugh. Waugh, who was concentrating more on survival yesterday with his bad hand, allowed Warne to dominate, which he did very well. And just started off nicely again this morning. A good shot. And Waugh hasn't moved a muscle. Didn't even take a step towards running there. Must have come right off the meat of the bat. Would have been a lovely feel. Now that's a good shot. We'll need the third umpire there. Umpire Venkat is already talking on his walkie-talkie, he's mobile, and they will want to know precisely what happened there. And umpire Venkat will realise very quickly that they ran 4 anyway. Pushing up towards a half century here, and a very good one too it will be if eventually reaches it.
Well, he's a dangerous player. Like Ian Healy, he plays shots, you're never quite sure where to put the fielders. He certainly doesn't hang around. That's a very good hit again. Everything going well for Australia. It doesn't help England's cause, particularly the early opening batsmen, when they see the ball flying around.
Well, that's a good shot, and it's a very, very good half century for Shane Warne. He's made one previously, but this is a good effort, and exactly what Mark Taylor and Steve Waugh, for that matter, would have wanted out there this morning. Nice performance. slow ball and a not so good misfield. Andrew Caddick is the man. 298 for 6, and the lead now for Australia, 371. That's all we'll see from Shane Warne. That was quite a nasty delivery from Caddick. It was only a loosener, and it took off from just short of a good length. That won't fill the early batsman for England with a great deal of confidence. Caddick is a very tall man, might have got an extra bit of bounce there.
Really took off. They have just gone away a little bit, perhaps touched the glove on the way through. Alex Stewart's had a pretty profitable match, but Shane Warne can be happy with that. Good half century to go with his 6 wickets. He's had a good match, but I'm sure he'll be thinking it's far from finished.
That's the way it looks now with that first wicket down this morning. Warne caught Stewart bowled Caddick 53. 298 for 7. Ford a rifle. Steve Waugh will reckon he could have done with those.
Boundary brings up the 300. Fortuitous for Paul Rifle. Only just out of the reach of Mark Butcher.
A bit of fire there from Andrew Caddick. And again. That's what Andrew Caddick needs, some deliveries of that kind.
Yes, they're both bouncing and moving away off the seam.
.99. And there it is. Loud applause around the ground and long chase to the fielder. Steve Waugh eases his way through to a second century in the match. Simple acknowledgement, rather shy look towards the ground, mops the brow. And the shake of the hand, but the demeanour scarcely reflects the magnitude of the achievement here at Old Trafford. So, 2 centuries in an Ashes Test match. First player to score a century both innings of an Ashes Test match is 1947. That was Arthur Morris and Dennis Compton.
Catch it.
Ouch. Well, that really hurt Butcher. Fielding at silly point in front of the bat there.
Yes, it's the last thing you need to do when you're going to have to bat for probably 5 sessions to save a test match, or even contemplate trying to win it, to lose one of your opening batsmen because of an injured wrist while fielding at silly mid-off.
That's very well fielded. And a great throw. But they steal a single. Marvellous bit of fielding, and I suppose you'd say, well, it was all done right-handed. Still looking rather cautiously at that left wrist. Well, he put a bit of weight in it just as he slid to the ground there.
I always think that's one of the great incentives for staying on the field and keeping well away from the physio. That's that spray. I think that hurts more than the actual blow itself.
It's a good stop. Dean Headley at mid-off. Long way down for a tall man, but he did that very well indeed. Not the easiest bounce.
Nice use of the feet. And Steve Waugh just getting underneath that one. Didn't quite hit it perfectly, but there's certainly enough bat on it. And Robert Croft posited over mid-wicket for 4. Now, there is a man out there at deep cover, but even he can't get to that one.
This is an overcompensation ball here. He bowled it straight, got hit into the deep, so he's bowled it outside off stump with a bit of width, and it was a little bit full as well.
Now, time for a change in the bowling at the Stretford end. Dean Headley invited once again to take the ball. That's out. Well, finally it all comes to an end. Good delivery from Dean Headley, just a little extra bounce. Once again has got that ability to find something in a pitch which seems to be playing quite placidly. And an almost involuntary stab at the ball from Steve Waugh just deflected it into the gloves of Alex Stewart. So good reward for Dean Headley, but no mistaking the man of the moment. Number 10 for Australia, Jason Gillespie. So the 8th wicket is down for 333. Just dropping short. Well, Nasser Hussain involved in that somewhat controversial dismissal earlier yesterday. The catch that got rid of Greg Blewett. This one definitely didn't carry. You can see the table of those highest 4th innings winning totals. India West Indies 75, 76. Some of those go back an awful long way, but basically it will be a monumental effort if England even get close to that. Oh, so close again. Well, this is almost the stock delivery for Dean Headley, getting the ball to swing back into the right-handers. This is the one he's really got the hang of, and the line was pretty much perfect, the length was near perfect. So close that time. That's a great delivery. Every now and again this morning we've seen the ball just do that little bit extra, bounce and carry through like this.
We're getting into a situation where the declaration is imminent, but it's reasonably close.
Andrew Caddick was putting in the short ones around there. It's probably going to miss leg stump, but not by much. Well, it could have been bad, but indeed it was. It wasn't all that far from Alex Stewart. 430 the lead. And then going back to deep backward square at the moment. Headley has used that field placing when he's using reverse swing, which is what he tried for there, but it was a little bit too straight. Certainly the ball slanted in from outside the off stump, but Jason Gillespie got it away very nicely. Croft is going to bowl, and it'll be one of the longest overs of off-spinning you've seen for a while. Robert Croft is just pulling a few grass seeds out of the ball there, just cleaning a bit of dust off it. Well, he won't be too pleased about that. He was just jigging around there and having a bit of fun, if that's the correct terminology, with Paul Reiffel.
So the Australians continue batting, and well, they certainly have well, they certainly have enough runs by our estimation. Though we've seen from Steve Waugh and others that they've certainly had a chance to play some shots out there, and it's been very difficult for the bowlers to get any sort of penetration.
It's just cleared, Alex Stewart. Gone for 4 too. It was helped round again off the glove with just enough impetus to take it wide and over the head of the keeper. Catch it. Oh! Almost a little bit of Paul Daniels magic from Andy Caddick. It was pretty firmly struck. And it was the old, oh, get the hand down, try and run it up the arm, and oh, what a pity. That's well struck. That's 2 or 3 bounces and over the boundary. It's wide mid-on. Fine shot, really, and it brings up the 50 partnership between these two. This has the feel of an end of innings over, but we'll have to wait and see. That's a very good shot. Dean Headley was positioned out there at deep mid-wicket. Caddick is behind square at square leg. And that one intentionally placed well between them and also hit very sweetly out of the meat of the bat.
Well, 4 more runs were added to take it along to 395 for 8. That's an outstanding scoreboard for Australia, with Steve Waugh making 116, and the tail really wagged. Ian Healy 47, Shane Warne 53, and Paul Reiffel and Jason Gillespie, an excellent partnership there. Reiffel 45 and Gillespie 28. 20 extras, 395 for 8 when the declaration came from Mark Taylor. Then Goff none for 62, Headley 4 for 104, 8 wickets for him in the match. Croft 2 for 105, Elam 1 for 41, Caddick 1 for 69. This is the state of play when England begin their second innings. The Australians 468 runs ahead, and only 2 teams have ever made over 400 in the 4th innings to win a test match. Plenty ahead of England there, and we're going to join them now with 3 runs on the board. Jason Gillespie is the bowler, Mark Butcher is the man taking strike.
Likes to play the ball square, gets on top of it well this time. No great speed, but they run free. Well, he's clattered it away, absolutely clattered it.
Well, certainly it's a positive approach from England. That confidence is important, whether you're trying to win a match or whether you're trying to save the match.
Well, you don't want to bowl too often there to Michael Atherton. Just a normal afternoon's batting for him. Picks up 3 runs. The outfield at Old Trafford has not been quick at all here. Lots of 3s. Well, that was well bowled because it absolutely surprised Michael Atherton. It's very strange indeed, but it did. He did well to get his gloves and bat underneath the bounce there. runs his time. Played well down, and that races away. That'll probably get to the boundary. The cheer tells the story.
Nicely stroked away. It was just a defensive push, but they're going to get, well, they get 3 if they wanted.
First delivery from Shane Warne, first run off Shane Warne.
Very nicely played.
That's gone very high and carried for 6. Well, Michael Atherton dismissed in the first innings playing the hook shot. The big difference here is, whereas it was a bit of glove first time round, this is meat of the bat. They're asking the question now, what's that come via? Because Mark Butcher was looking to leave the ball.
That was, or appeared to be, a bit of a con job. The gloves and the bat were well out of the way. So off the leg, onto the elbow.
That's got him. That's kept low. It's straight enough. Jason Gillespie has broken through. That's the first England wicket to fall. It's the captain, Michael Atherton.
Yes, that ball only bouncing about half stump high, even though Atherton is a little bit off the ground as he's playing it. It's still well and truly below bail height, and Atherton a long way across. Absolutely no doubt about where that one was going to finish its journey.
England are 44 for 1. Oh, that's just what Shane Warne wanted. Alex Stewart all at sea. And the old adage has worked. One brings 2.
Stewart was looking for the leg break, and Shane Warne found the hole to take his 250th wicket. And he's got there pretty quickly. 55 test matches for Shane Warne to take his 250 test wickets.
Oh. Nicely played, timed and placed. Just stay there. 2 runs enough at this stage. First ball of the final session of the day, flicked away down to Glenn McGrath for 1, brings up the England 50. That's got in. That was close enough for umpire Venkatragavan. And so, Jason Gillespie having a good day this afternoon. The wickets of Michael Atherton and now Nasser Hussain, 2 of England's finest. I'm just wondering about that decision against Nasser Hussain. Now, I'll have a look from the stump camera. I just got a suspicion that's marginally outside our stump when it hits him. Very pleasant looking shot from Graham Thorpe. Three for him. That's going high in the air. Will Glenn McGrath get there? Oh, yes. Well, he just made it. Well, in the end, that goes down as a fantastic catch. He had to make quite a lot of ground in from long leg. Mark Butcher got right underneath it. And in the end, Glenn McGrath took it right on the ground.
Well, I think this is the moment of truth for John Crawley, because he really needs some runs in this Test series.
Butcher gone for 28.
Well, it went like a flash into the gully.
A little bit of extra bounce on this occasion for Gillespie, and because Crawley tries to play it with the straight bat, it's a very difficult shot to keep down with the straight bat. Much easier to hit the horizontal bat shot, get over the top of it. Went in the air, went very quickly.
Better placed, nicely timed too. And that really is racing away to the mid-wicket boundary. Much better stroke. Good shot. Well placed. Is he going to make it? It does. It's Mark Waugh out there. It looked for a moment as if there wasn't quite enough strength and timing in the stroke. Well, that nearly decapitated Ian Healy. Goes down as 2 byes, but there's a lot of activity there.
As we see this one spin quite sharply and bounce, really bounce, no wonder Healy couldn't get a glove on that. He was lucky he didn't lose his front teeth.
And that's it. It was wide, it was quicker, might have been a top spinner, and Thorpe, so caged in there and so much concerned about patting away, suddenly flashes the bat at it, tries to play a shot, and nicks it to the keeper. .84 for 5, and I think that Mark Taylor's theory about dispiriting the opposition by batting for an extraordinarily long time may have a bit of merit.
That's beautifully played there. That was right up there for hitting. John Crawley made no mistake. Just a little ray of sunshine as far as England are concerned. Full toss, not quite such a problem though, and that's been nicely timed. Well, that one really did go like a firecracker.
I don't know how you play this. I mean, with the greatest of difficulty. Oh. That nearly went at right angles.
Oh! Well, that's just a whisker away again. Well, there's one run. It's enough to bring England up to the 100 mark. Some small consolation. The key figure is the 5 to the right of the total. 100 for 5 for England. Full toss is welcomed and dispatched for 4. Well, once again, that's beaten the lot. Spinning from outside leg stump, ending up on the line of a finish third man.
It's another good shot. Just about 1 and over. This is a loose one from Michael Bevan. He's bowled some cracking deliveries as well. Fine stroke. Nicely timed and beautifully placed. .50 for John Crawley. Five more added to take it along to 130 for 5 at the close of play on this 4th evening, and that was an excellent half-century from John Crawley. 53 not out for him, and good stern resistance from Mark Elam. 5 not out, doesn't look much, but he was there for an hour, and he gave Crawley tremendous support, and England will need plenty more of that tomorrow. 130 for 5 for them, a good opening stand, and then not much else after that until Crawley came along. Jason Gillespie, I thought, bowled brilliantly today. 12 overs, 4 maidens, 3 for 31. There wasn't much there for him in the pitch, and he really bent his back and got 2 very fast deliveries through for those LBWs. And Shane Warne, 19 overs, 7 maidens, and 2 for 21. Quite dramatic bowling figures there. We're going to join play in the first over. It's the 3rd ball. Shane Warne is the bowler, and John Crawley is taking strike.
Tossed high, that's a full toss and put away nicely by John Crawley. First boundary of the morning, the first runs of the morning, and they take this partnership now up to 50. Not the first time that Mark Elam's been hit on the body in this innings or in this match. Glenn McGrath does keep that line pretty straight. He's come on leaps and bounds since that first test match at Edgbaston. He's kept the ball straight, he's bowled with far more control. He seems to have adapted to English conditions somewhat since Birmingham. Well, it's runs. Combination of an open face and a wee bit of outside edge. If I was Shane Warne, I'd be delighted that John Crawley played that shot. I really feel I'd have a chance soon. Really is the problem. If the ball isn't a really full half volley, it's going to turn a little bit. It's going to make driving somewhat hazardous. That's nicely timed. Lovely throw from Glenn McGrath. Ghosts from the past. Oh, good shot. Now that was the genuine half volley, and it was beautifully put away.
It was a lovely, juicy half volley, but you can only put it away from a wrist spinner if you have confidence in which way it's going to turn.
Well, that was nearly in. Nearly into the hands of Greg Blewett at short leg, who moved very sharply away to his right.
I don't think this was quite so easy. This went quick, lowish, and certainly catchable, but seen easier catches at bat and pad.
Interesting for the keeper. Rolled. England reached 150 with that by Ian Healy. Not much he could do about it. Full toss. Pretty quick one. 4 runs.
That's what he's been good at, John Crawley. It is a difficult situation with the wrist spinners on this dry-in pitch, but he's put the bad ball away. And that's good batting.
Nicely bowled by Glenn McGrath, just trying to get one of those in-swinging Yorkers right up there. And again, somewhat like Steve Waugh was saying about Dean Headley, the pace of Glenn McGrath is something that's not always easy to judge on television. He's got that ball to swing back in. And that's a wee bit different.
This is where I think is most difficult to play. Watch it just pitch in the rough, you automatically look to play it to leg side because it's so wide of leg stump. And then it zips across you.
Oh, that's out. Beautifully caught. Wonderful catch by Ian Healy. The ball was going downwards into the ground. He got a glove just underneath it. And so Glenn McGrath removes Mark Elam. Well, maybe looking with disbelief, but I'm afraid the ball went sweetly into the glove.
Very good line from Glenn McGrath. Made the batsman play and perhaps just not quite covering off stump as well as he should. Excellent catch from Ian Healy. We talk about the 2 W's and the impact they've had on this game, Steve Waugh and Shane Warne. Ian Healy is not far behind them. He's done some terrific things for Australia in this match, and that was one of them.
Robert Croft is the incoming batsman. 158 for 6. John Crawley there, and Robert Croft with a lot to prove. Australia have a very simple formula at the moment for Robert Croft. You hit him on the head, and then he plays a daft shot. Big shout there, but I think it's exasperation rather than anything else, because John Crawley's risked his arm with the sweep shot. He really lays into it. Well, I think that's the prescription.
Does a belt on the arm guard produce the same sort of daft response?
Well, I'm hoping my man is going to fight it through today. Well, you've got to fight it out. This is what the test match game is all about. Worth taking a few bumps if you can hang around there for a while. Pleasantly played by Robert Croft. A couple from him to get off the mark. So it's quite a good ball, that late in swing which Glenn McGrath produces. Robert Croft has 2. more runs. Two more. Well, there you are. That's it. The short ball again. No sort of shot. Simple catch.
It's obviously Croft getting himself in a bit of a tangle against that short pitch delivery. And what happened, he finished up playing with the bat at an angle that meant that the ball could only possibly go up in the air, and lobbed a simple catch to Paul Rifle.
Great roar for the Yorkshire entertainer, Darren Gough. 170 for 7.
A nice shot. The idea should be to score on the leg side off Shane Warne, not just to play him with the pads. And Crawley's done that very well.
Yes, what he does, he lets the ball come right onto him, plays it a little late, just nice touch shot with a roll of the wrists.
Won't get that. It's spinning too much. It would have gone past off stump, which is probably underlined by the three-quarter appeal from Ian Healy. Had to be a flipper, but turned out may even be a no ball. Yes, it is, called by umpire Sharp at the bowler's end because it was above waist height. That's a question. Oh, and he's gone. Just pushing back onto his stumps. And as has often happened in this innings, Crawley, in his back stride, has got very, very close to the stumps. This time, he has just clipped them. And he's made 83 out of 151. Lovely ovation.
I thought he played very well. I thought he deserved 100. He was under tremendous pressure. No runs in the series. Another failure, and his place for the next Test match at Headingley would have been in jeopardy. It was a really harsh way to get out. He played the ball quite nicely, actually.
Andrew Caddick is the new batsman. 177 for 8 now. Crawley 83. Only two other double-figure scores. Oh, why on earth would Caddick do that?
Well, it could only be that he's got it in the mind that he's going to get a bouncer or two.
Oh, foot first or bat, or going past leg stump. All sorts of scenarios there.
Lovely little bit of in-swing, wasn't it? It just got in there. Just a question of whether he got the bat on it or the toe end, or a bit of both.
Good shot. Beautiful straight for 4. If they run hard. It's a good shot. No outfield, and that's a good hit. Toward Gough.
Well, I think Darren Gough has to play the odd shot or two. The way he played in the first innings is not not his way. Certainly wasn't successful, just sticking the bat behind the pad.
That's the reverse swing, and it means that Goff has to get into reverse and make his way to the pavilion.
Well, there's not a lot wrong with the idea. There's no mid-on, so there's a big gap there. Take it sort of slightly outside to the ball, to the onside, except for the fact that he didn't get his foot over there and he missed it.
188 for 9. Shot. That's a nice stroke from Andrew Caddick. Good shot. He's got that pretty much off the meat of the bat.
Well, I was saying earlier about Andy Caddick, when he ducked into that bouncer, it was a bit of a surprise because he's no mug with the bat. Obviously a little soul-destroying for him to be batting here when not much chance of saving the game. But he can play. He's a pretty good performer. I've seen him play very well. All the tail-enders played as well as him. They do pretty good. 200 up for England. Brings the applause.
And that is out. Warner's got a wicket this morning. Makes him 3 for the innings. The Australians have won. And the Test series is squared. The Ashes battle is alive again. Well, England just made the 200 mark there. That innings of John Crawley's, starting off not out overnight, he's gone on to 83 there. And it was a top-class performance. One that he may have needed, but certainly confirms him as a high-class player at this level. 83 for him and 17 for Andrew Caddick at the end when all was lost. Some lusty blows there. And he looks as though he can bat a bit at Test match level down the order. 20 extras, 200 all out for England. Now the bowling figures for Australia. It was Glenn McGrath who came back there, 4 for 46, having had no wickets at the start. Gillespie didn't bowl today. It was just McGrath and Warne. Warne finishing with 3 for 63 from 30.4 overs and 8 maidens, and 9 wickets for him in the match. He's perhaps not absolutely back to his best, but certainly he's not far off it. And the situation, that's the way it all happened. 235 and 395 for 8, 162 all out and 200 all out. Australia won by 268 runs. The series is level at 1 all, and in this particular game, the man of the match, the Cornhill player of the game, was Stephen Waugh. Before we talk to Stephen Waugh, though, or before David Gower does, here he is now with the 2 skippers, Mark Taylor and Mike Atherton.
Well, Mark, congratulations for the first time in this series. It looks like the act is coming together.
Yeah, as I said before the match, I think we're starting to play some better cricket. We're finally getting on the park for more than one day in a row, which I think is obviously helping. But we're starting to run into some forms. Steve Waugh's batting back to his usual best. We've got to start to get a few bowlers in form. McGrath, Gillespie and Shane Warne back in form. So we're starting to play some good cricket.
That just leaves a couple of players to really hit their straps. Now tell us, the big question that we've all been talking about for the last 4.5 days is decision on the first morning to bat. And you said at the time you would have to be bowling last on the pitch. It looked a bit of a gamble, though.
It was a bit of a gamble. I was going to bowl until probably the last rolling, I think, of the morning. At about 10:20, I changed my mind and decided to bat. Mainly because the wicket, I thought, looked similar to what it was in 1993. I had a feeling it might do some tricks on the first day, but we needed someone to make a good score. Steve Waugh's 108 was fantastic, and I thought Paul Rifle's 30 at the end was got us from 150 to 230, which I was very happy with.
Yes, if England had bowled you out for, say, 150, 160 on that first day, without that 70-run partnership between the two of them, then it would have been a far more even contest in the first part of the game.
I think so. It would have made, obviously, that when they go out and bat, it would have made it easier for them as well. Rather than chasing 230 on a seaming wicket, they'll be chasing 150. You can be more positive, you get in front, and then it's a different ball game. We've got to be a bit more defensive. But no, I thought the first day sort of set it up for us, and then Warnie's bowling on the second day was obviously fantastic.
Yeah, I'll talk about Steve Waugh to Steve Waugh later on. Talk about Shane Warne first, though, because he was seemingly out of form in the first 2 Test matches. He's come to Manchester, where he has happy memories of 4 years ago, and straight away here he seemed to be turning the ball really big.
I think a lot of people forget that Shane Warne's human. A guy can't go through 12 months of Test cricket and expect to bowl, take 6 or 7 wickets in every Test match. Yes, he's been a bit out of form. People have been talking about his finger, his shoulder and all sorts of problems. That hasn't been the case. He just hasn't been bowling his best, as I've said a number of times during those matches. At Hampshire, I thought he was bowling a lot better. He only took 3 for 30 in that game, but bowled a lot better, started getting the loop back, and he bowled more like the Shane Warne of old in this game. So it's just like anyone. You cannot go through 12 months and expect to play at your best every game.
Now, you've won this game convincingly. What do you reckon? You're about 80% full capacity here?
Oh, no, I thought we played better than that. I thought probably about 90%. I thought we played really well here. As I said, the first day was tough, but we made some runs. That was the good thing about it. And then we came out and bowled as we've bowled the last 2 or 3 weeks. So obviously we can brush up in a few areas because a few more of us can make some runs. There's no doubt about that. But apart from that, I was very happy with the way we played.
Yeah, I'm not going to put you under pressure. All right, congratulations. Well done on that very good victory. Now, Mike, it's 1-1 now in the series. You had such a good start to it at Birmingham. It looks as though the momentum has swung the other way now.
Well, it's 1-1 with 3 to go. I felt we missed some chances here. The first half of the game, really we had the best of the wicket to bowl on and bat on. I'd have fancied our chances of getting a 100-plus lead on that wicket. But that didn't happen. Australia played the better cricket throughout, deserved to win the match.
You say you fancied the 100 lead, but halfway through England's first innings, that seemed to be a very distant prospect. Where do you think was the biggest problem? Not bowling Australia out for less runs on the first day, or in the middle order in that first innings?
A bit of both. We could have bowled Australia out for a few cheaper. I thought we came a bit stuck when we batted. We weren't quite positive enough. I thought we batted ourselves into a hole as well as Australia bowled. I felt we contributed to our own downfall a little bit. And obviously when you're behind on first innings, it makes it tough.
Now, John Crawley in the second innings showed what can be done with application, a lot of skill, a lot of very fine effort there from him. How much are you going to look at the way Shane Warne bowled in this match in preparation for the next match?
Well, I think generally in the series we played him pretty well. Obviously, the first innings here less so. He bowled well, and we didn't play him very well. But I'm not unduly concerned.
Don't you think you ought to be? I mean, he has just played a major part in squaring the series here.
Yeah, the series is squared at 1-1 and there's 3 to go, and I'm confident that we can win at least one of those games.
And conditions likely to be a little bit different at Headingley?
Well, whatever, we'll wait and see. I've no idea what the Headingley pitch will be like, but I'm confident with the team we've got that we can pose some problems for Australia.
And talking of that team, Dean Headley here was very, very fine on his debut, wasn't he?
Yeah, to come in, first Test match, he looked as though he was born to be a Test cricketer. I thought it was an outstanding performance from him in both innings, particularly well at their left-handers.
There were rumours of some discord in the winter when you were in Zimbabwe. Dean Headley was playing well in Australia. I assume that doesn't apply anymore.
No, I don't quite know where those rumours came from. I think it was stirred up a little bit by a member of the press corps, creating a bit of mischief, but there's certainly no disharmony there now.
Yeah, I'd imagine that you're very happy with it, and so's he.
Yeah, I mean, he's obviously delighted to get his first cap for England, and I thought he bowled especially well.
OK, well, we'll look forward to the next Test match. Look for a different result there as an Englishman. Now, Steve, we've already talked to you over the last couple of days about this performance of yours in this match. It's history-making, the first time since 1946 that either an English or an Australian batsman has made 200s in the match. Are you a great fan of history?
Well, I am now, yeah, but I'm part of it.
Proud to be part of it.
It's nice to be recognised in that way and only be the third Australian to do it. But I wasn't aware of that fact until I read the papers yesterday, but it's nice to be with such distinguished players of the past.
Now the game is well and truly won, and you can perhaps reassess the performance. How highly do you rate this performance amongst your many fine ones in Test cricket?
Yeah, it is pretty tough to rate. I think first day was probably one of my better innings, particularly with the wicket was playing up and down, and it was quite pacey and a lot of grass there, so it was hard work. I think I got away to a bit of a flying start, which helped. Got my confidence up. So I'd rate that pretty highly. Second innings, I was a bit inconvenienced with the hand, but the wicket was obviously a bit better to bat on, but concentration I thought it was as good as I've played before.
Yeah, you mentioned the hand there. What's the state now?
I think it's okay. It's just a bit of jarring, a bit of bruising. Carrying on a bit yesterday. It's pulled off a lot better today.
Yeah, and I suppose that over the next couple of weeks you've got quite a lot of time to spare, so you'll have a good time to rest it.
Well, probably not actually, because Mark Taylor's got a week off, so I'm taking over the captaincy, so I'll have to play another couple of games. But yeah, it'd be nice to have a bit of a break before the next Test match.
OK, well, congratulations. Very well played indeed. Thank you.
Stephen Waugh there with David Gower, and a tremendous performance from him during this game. 108 and 116. He's one of the toughest Test match competitors